when I was looking at my own applications and I guess like debating involving AI within them, one of the first things I had to realize was that um I had to get my own ideas across and my own, personal experiences. Um I've, read a couple applications in the past, help people out with their applications. And what I tend to notice is that those who involve AI at the very beginning of their application process tend not to have essays and critical reflections that help me see them more meaningfully, if that makes sense, or help me understand who they are as a person. And so at first, I completely focused on using just my own experiences, my own words, and writing everything that I needed to. So that was the first step in all my essay writing processes. Um, how like where are my experiences? Like let me write them down without involving the use of AI. Because I think even in like those very first drafts, if you ask generative AI platforms like Claude or ChatGPT or Copilot how to fix it, sometimes it takes your voice and transforms it in a completely different direction, which I think should be a little bit avoidable. So I never used it to write for me, but I did use it a little bit as a conversation partner later on in the in my writing process. So, for example, focusing only on grammar and saying, does this grammar or does this grammatical structure make sense to you? I guess sometimes when I wouldn't have access to a teacher right around me or someone who was able, to look at my essay or my writing, they could help me say, this grammatical structure doesn't make sense, or you're using passive voice here a little bit more than your active voice. And those were, I guess, like tips and feedback that I was then able to go back to my writing process and rewrite. So I, helped it to sort of refine my essay structure, my grammatical ideas, and push a little bit through those blocks where I just couldn't figure out how exactly I need to frame things. But I would highly recommend, you don't use it for generating ideas or writing for you, because at the end of the day, the college application process is to hear who you are as a person. And AI can always help you maybe hear your own voice a little bit clearly, but it can never generate that voice for you.
I love that answer, Rohan, because what you just said is write your own story,
Right.
right? But if you're a student or a parent listening to this, right, write your own story, but use AI to bounce off, small little ideas here and there. But your story has to be your story, not ChatGPT story or a ChatGPT or a Claude inspired story.